Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you and your loved ones are doing well and your week is going really well. So this video comes on the back of somebody sending me a private message on Instagram asking me about African threading, because I've mentioned it a few times and I use it as a protective style, but also as a way to stretch my hair without heat. So I thought I'll just show you how I do it. There are different ways to do it, obviously, but this is a simple way to do it and it's good for anybody who's starting off, who's never done it before. So I'm going to do my very best to show you what I do and how easy it is, and also how you can actually use it to protect your hair and also to use it to stretch your hair. So I'm starting off with hair that's slightly stretched, and I actually use African threading to do this. And I did African threading on wash day to help stretch my hair, but because it was soaking wet, it wouldn't stretch as much as I would like it to. So I always find it best to do a little bit of African threading, which is temporary, and then undo them a couple of days later. And then you want to detangle your hair, so get a wide toothed comb, and if you've got a brush, that's really good as well. And then you're just going to need a pair of scissors to cut your thread. So you need to decide how thick you want them to be. So we're going to call them braids just for ease of reference. And how thick they're going to be depends on how many bits of yarn you've got together. So I wanted the medium thickness, so I'm using 4 bits. But you can use more if you want them thicker, or even fewer if you want them thinner. So you measure how long you want them to be, depending on how long you want the braids to be. And then you do need to measure out a winding yarn, and I just use double. One, I think it just works better, and also it makes the threading a little bit faster. So first of all, you need to properly detangle your hair right from the tips to the roots, because that makes sure that you're not going to get any knots or tangles. If you do not detangle your hair, then your hair is going to get really matted, and also it could get really knotted, and you could get split ends and all of those horrible things. So make sure your hair is thoroughly detangled, I like to go over with a detangling brush, because then that also helps to stretch the hair as well as remove any tangles that might still be there. So once your hair is properly prepared, you take those 4 bits of yarn, or however many bits you're going to use, which is what's going to be like our braid, and then you take the winding yarn and then you put them together like so. So where they meet is essentially where you're going to start your threading. So just take a note of that, and then you then attach them to your hair so that you can start your threading. So I always say it's important to make sure that it's loose enough so that it's comfortable and not too tight. If it's too tight, one, is going to be painful as hell, and also it could just lead to breakage and you could lose your edges. And I think a lot of people worry that African thread is going to make them lose their edges, but it's really dependent on how tight you make it. If you make it loose like this, then your edges are going to be protected. So you hold those 4 bits of yarn against your hair, and then you use the winding thread to wind around both your hair and those 4 threads, as I'm showing. So how closely to wind it really depends on a couple of things. So I want a really good blowout look. So the closer you wind the yarns, the more stretched your hair will be. And also I think it protects the hair much better if the threads are close together, because if you're going to leave them out, which some people do to get like a corkscrew look, then it just means your hair is exposed more. So as you can see, I've been winding mine really close together, but if you wanted the corkscrew look, all you need to do is just space out the threads, and you decide on how big you want them to be. But as you can see, I'm just moving my hand down a bit more than before, and that spacing is what's going to give you that corkscrew look. And from a distance, it actually looked like a twist, so it's really, really pretty. And I know lots of people do it for protective styling, or just to style their hair for long term, but I just prefer to do mine close together. So I'm just going to undo that bit and then go back and redo it using my usual way of winding them close together. So when it comes to protective styling, one of the most important things is to protect your ends. So this is how you can use African threading to protect your ends. So you're going to make sure that they are stretched, again, to prevent knots or tangles, and then you're going to continue to wind around it. And that's the advantage of using the longer bits of yarn, bits of yarn that are longer than your hair, because then that's going to make sure that your hair, your ends are completely covered and they are well protected. So as you can see, you can't even see where those ends are. They are well under that threading and they are well protected. So this is why I do like using African threading as a protective style. And that's why I say it definitely is one of the best. So once I've made the 2 knots, I just cut off the yarn, and it's time to move on to the next braid. So I'm just going to leave the tips like this, or the ends like that. But if you wanted, you could actually burn them, because that will make them more secure, particularly if you're going to leave them out, then it just looks neater. So I'm just going to go around and do the same. So just watch what I'm doing. I'm measuring out how long I want them to be, and then I'm just going to put the 4 bits together and then start my winding as I demonstrated before. So in this bit here, I was just deciding the way I wanted this to lie, because I do want it to kind of lie flat, particularly if I'm going to wear a scarf or even a wig over it. So if you do put it in the middle, straight down the middle is still fine, but sometimes it's good to just vary it a little bit, because then it just makes sure that your wig lies flatter. So sometimes you just don't measure enough of the long winding yarn. So I'm just going to show you, how you can attach some more of the yarn. So let's say it was too short, you just measure out some more, and then you just loop it through, and then you carry on. So the back can be a bit tricky, and my advice here is to actually bend forward, lean forward, so that you can tell if it's comfortable or not. Because otherwise, you know, if you don't, once you start to try and bend your head forward, it feels really tight and uncomfortable. So bend forward, make sure it's comfortable, and then start winding. So that's me all done. My hair is well protected and it was so quick and so easy. And I still have access to my scalp because I need my scalp massages. So I'm just going to tie them back so that they just look a bit neater. Mine, you know, are a little bit crazy and my partings aren't that straight anyway. So it would look a little bit crazy if I didn't tie them back. And you can actually tie them up if you want and then attach a ponytail, but I'm just going to tie mine at the back, and then I could wear a scarf over them, or if you wanted you could actually wear a wig over them. You can use this as a protective style under something else. So as you can see, I just wrapped them round and secured them with a bit more yarn, and that's me done. So as I said, if these partings were much neater, I could actually just walk around like this. But you could also wear this under a wig or something, put your wig cap on, put your wig on, and you're ready to go. And look at that, you can hardly see what's going on underneath. And that's why I like this. And then once you take it out, these are the results. It looks like a blowout, but there was absolutely no heat used at all. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it interesting and enjoyable. And if you're going to use it, then do let me know. Before I go, I'd like to give my subscribers a massive thank you, and thank you to everybody else who's engaging. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Also give the video a thumbs up. That really helps to support my channel. And if you want to be one of the first to know when I have a new video on the channel, just sign up for notifications by clicking the bell icon. So I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones. Bye for now.